Hi guys, I'm back from getting married. Check that out, 2 rings. Let's go. Guys, we have so much to catch up on. Let's just hang out today. I really wanted to start unpacking my studio with you guys, showing you my plans for where everything is going to go and how I'm gonna set it out. I've only ever had my sewing studio in one configuration and this space doesn't really allow for that. So I have to do some brainstorming. So I'm gonna bring you along while I set up. I also thought it would be really fun if I showed you my hair and makeup that I did for the wedding. So maybe I'm gonna do a little get ready with me in this video as well, which is kind of silly and not my usual content, but whatever, I just wanna do it so it's happening. And maybe I'll show you some really exciting little fun details in our house because it's coming together. Disclaimer, the space that I'm living in with my husband is very small. It's basically the equivalent of a studio. So you guys may get acquainted with Elijah because there's only really one room here. So I guess get ready for a new character addition. Everybody, this is Elijah. Elijah, this is everybody. This is my husband and he lives here too now. So that's all, thank you. Guys, we have so much to catch up on. I'm really looking forward to this video. Let's hang out, grab a cup of tea or a snack, and let's get into all of the updates, I guess. Update number 1, the wedding day occurred and the weather was so beautiful. The dress, I wore it, it stayed together, and I loved it. So we can all collectively exhale. It went well. I'm so relieved it's over. Goodness gracious. I'm currently working on the wedding dress video. So in that video, I'll talk about all of the details, the construction, how it all came together, and of course, any wedding details like how the day went, and maybe I'll include some pictures and just fun stuff. So if you're interested in all of the wedding dress stuff, that video is coming, so do not worry. But if you just wanted to know, the quick update is everything went well. Yay. Update number 2, the honeymoon was really lovely. We went to Tasmania and it was nice. So that's that. Update number 3, I'm currently in the process of moving into the house that I now share with my husband, which is very exciting. But the biggest thing of all is trying to set up my studio space. So today I thought we could do that together. I need to unpack all of my fabric, all of my notions, and just make a system that works for me. So I need to do some problem solving and just figure out how I can make things work. I work best if I can access all of my essentials very effortlessly. So hopefully we can do that. So yes, today I'm gonna do a little bit of unpacking with you and show you the setup. I think that's enough talking. Why don't we just get straight into the unpacking because that is critically needed right now. This is the space. It's kind of awesome. A big thing that Elijah and I had to figure out, which is a little bit challenging in a small space, is that we both needed a workstation. So this is what we've got. This is the sewing space. It's a little bit hard to see right now because it is very cluttered, but here is the plan. I have my industrial setup, my lamp, and then I bought this rather small square table from IKEA. It's almost the perfect measurement so that it would lay completely flush with the sewing machine. It's about 3 centimeters bigger, but whatever. You win some and you lose some. It's barely even a loss. But it fits really nice and snug into this wall section. And hopefully I can put my iron and my overlocker on that table. For me, the most inspiring setup is when my essentials are just out and easily accessible. Because if I have to set something up and pack it down every day, it makes me feel overwhelmed by beginning the process. But if it's out, I can sort of just stumble into sewing because it's just sort of there. So hopefully I can get what I need in an accessible place. But this is more or less where I'll be working. Also, I just had to zoom out so I could show you this beautiful circular dining table that we got off Facebook Marketplace. I hunted for this bad boy. I firmly believe that a circular dining table should have chairs that fit beautifully in. I don't like when the chairs can't get underneath the table. It should visually just be a circle, and this one is, which I adore. It just felt like putting a rectangular dining table in our space made everything feel a bit blocky, but having the circle sort of creates some flow and some softness to the space, so I'm really liking it so far. It came with 6 chairs, but we're only using 4, and this is what they look like. It's a good chair. It's very comfortable. And as I said, it fits in good. I am greatly looking forward to reupholstering these chairs. The fabric is cool, but I'm envisioning a very vibrant suede or a corduroy perhaps. I just can't decide whether I want every chair to have a different color or whether they should remain a set. We'll figure this out in the future video, but I'm thinking green, but maybe yellow, blue. I really like most colors, so it could be anything. I'm realizing I actually have so much to show you and so much to do in this video, so before I get too far ahead of myself, let me proudly announce the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. Now, some of you might remember one of my very first YouTube videos where I created a rather poorly constructed smocked blouse. And I would really like to right my wrongs and learn how to do some proper smocking. So it's been a delight to be able to take a class on Skillshare all about smocking. If you didn't know, Skillshare is the largest online learning community with thousands of engaging classes led by industry professionals across all sorts of genres like film, illustration, graphic design, creativity, and so much more. Skillshare can help you take your careers, side hustles, passions, and hobbies to the next level. To help me stay inspired as a creative, I'm always trying to practice my creativity, and sometimes that means sewing, but other times it means exploring other interests, crafts, and passions. So although there are many amazing sewing classes on Skillshare, I also find myself interested in classes about woodworking, interior design, illustration, journaling, and of course all sorts of little crafty classes, like notebook making. Anyway, the class that I've been taking right now that I'm absolutely loving is called Learn English Smocking, 10 Stitches and Create Beautiful Garments. The class is beautifully put together and it thoughtfully breaks down every single step required to make a gorgeous smocked fabrication. I've been really enjoying learning how to do all of these different traditional stitches, and I can't wait to incorporate them in my work in the future. If this sounds like a class that you would be interested in taking, or you just want to explore all that Skillshare has to offer, then I have a wonderful offer for you. The first 500 people to click the link in the description box of this video will receive 1 month free of Skillshare. So jump on it, click the link if you're interested, and I hope you enjoy Skillshare as much as I do. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Okay, so I showed you my workspace. Now let me show you the solution for Elijah's workspace and where I want to store my fabric. This is the Iva shelving system from IKEA. Initially, something that I thought was very valuable about this space was the fact that our kitchen is at a slightly higher level. So we have this nice, tall, extra wall in our space. Because if we had had the kitchen on the same level, it's unlikely that we would have had any wall to do anything with. So this is amazing. Now, as you can see, I have quite a lot of fabric and this needs a home. The majority of my scrap fabric that I use for patchworking lives in these big clear plastic bags, and they all fit perfectly under our bed. But for the rest of my more bulky fabrics, I need them to fit on shelves. Again, if I can't see it and if it's not out in front of me, I just don't feel inclined to work as much. So I kind of need to be immersed in all of my creative options. Basically what I'm saying is shelving is kind of essential for me because I just need to see everything. So I'm hoping that all of my fabric fits nicely into these 2 shelves. And I've also bought a bunch of tubs to put my notions in. Usually I have a nice big pegboard and that has all of my scissors and threads on it. So without that in this space, I needed to get a bit creative, but hopefully it's all fine. Anyway, Elijah also needs a place to work, which is why this particular shelving system is so cool. As you can see, it has this wooden flap down here. Put his computer up here. And that flap folds out into a lovely desk. So Elijah can pull out the computer and work here, and then when the day is done, it doesn't really take up our living room space anymore. But how good, guys? How good? The shelving system is very customizable, which is what made it really appealing to us. Obviously, the height is just about perfection, which is very exciting. And because there are different sizes of shelves, we could get almost the perfect length of this wall covered in shelving. We probably have about 10 centimeters spare at the end, so that is as near to perfection as I could ask for. The other benefits is that it has a space for the permanently implanted aircon screen that we have in the wall. And there's also about a 1.5 meter long space in the bottom of this wall that lets the aircon out. And so we didn't want to cover that with a bookshelf or something with a back. So having this customizable shelving meant that we could have the shelf start above the aircon slot So good. I couldn't think of anything more perfect. Also, if you're interested in this for your own tiny space, you can also get different depths of shelves, which is great. We have the 30 centimeter depth, and you can also just get as many shelves as you want. I promise this video is not going to be just about shelving, but you guys have to see this because it's very satisfying. This section here was such a weird gap, and I was like, I have to find the perfect thing to put into this gap, otherwise it's just wasted space. For context, we have to have our internet console at the bottom. It literally has to go there. And we also have a power board up here. So two essential items. Anyway, the moral of the story is the Ivar shelves strike again. The small configuration fits perfectly, bam, into this corner. And I put heaps more shelves here so that I can, I don't know, get crazy with it. Maybe put some books in there. I don't know yet. I did this yesterday, so the potential is still brewing. That's all. Anyway, that's the shelving of the house. And now I'm gonna show you the hair and makeup that I did on my wedding day. There's literally no reason for any of this video except that I just feel like it would be fun. So yeah. I know I mentioned in a previous video that I was considering buying some makeup for my wedding, but I just wasn't sure. I guess it kind of felt like if I spent more money buying makeup than if I had just got it done professionally, then that would be crazy. But ultimately, I actually spent quite a bit buying some new products, and it's actually been really delightful. I got my makeup professionally done at Mecca because if you get your makeup done in store, it's redeemable for products. So I went in, I spent my money, and I just asked the makeup artist 1,000 questions, and she was incredible. And then I just used that money to buy products. So it was overall a win-win-win-win. Let me show you guys. Also, Elijah is making cookies right now. So if you can hear noise, that's him making cookies. Look at this guy.
Hello.
Tell them about the cookies, Lige.
Oh, these are Claire Sappet's brown butter chocolate chip cookies. They're literally the best cookies ever. Probably your new favorite cookie.
So true. Side note, you don't need a stand mixer to make Claire Sappet's chocolate chip cookies, but we did get a stand mixer for our wedding. We didn't actually want anything, basically anything, except for a KitchenAid, because Elijah and I love to cook. And we got one! It's so pretty. That's all. Have fun making cookies. Anyway, hair and makeup time. I did end up wearing these little flower clips at the reception, and they were perfect. They were a little bit too silly or whimsical for the ceremony, I felt. But we ended up hiring a arcade basketball machine at the reception, and I literally just wanted to shoot hoops. Like, I almost feel regretful about how much basketball I played. I didn't even remember that it was my own wedding, and I was just shooting hoops. So I wanted my hair up and I wanted to play my basketball games. So they ended up being great. People often ask me how I get my curls so nice or whatever. And the answer is, if you see my curls looking good, I curled them. So there it is. Most of the time, my curls are looking pretty messy. All I do to them is put in a little bit of gel. Yeah, I use this gel. It's just Clever Curl, Humid Weather Clever. Get out the shower, put that in my hair, I brush it through. If I'm feeling really fun, I will do some coils with my fingers and I'll plop it in a t-shirt. If you don't know what that is, then just Google that. Okay. And I'll usually just let it dry in the t-shirt for 10 minutes or so. And then if I'm feeling super duper fancy, I might diffuse it, but that's for special occasions only. But honestly, I feel like my best hair days are day 3 or 4 curls that look crazy. Like today, I feel yucky with the way my curls are looking, but this is such a good base for if I want to curl my curls, because I feel like it just holds so nicely because it's a bit dirty. And I just have a little Remington hair curler. It's a cheap guy. But boy, does it work hard for me. But I don't think there's any shame in curling your curls. I realized a few years ago that I could, and that's not a problem. I just feel like it enhances what I have naturally going on. Like on a really, really good day, maybe I could get somewhere close to this, but it's just heaps easier if I just do it with a tool. What's the problem? That's one side done. I'm just gonna do the other side the exact same, and I'm going to leave the curl completely undisrupted. I'll give it a really light coat of hairspray and leave all of the curls undisrupted for now. And then I'll do my makeup, and then I'll come back to the hair. Okay, so that's the hair all curled. And then I just gave it the lightest hairspray. Could this be the wrong order of events? Absolutely. I have no idea how to do things. But that is what I did on my wedding day. And then once that was like that, I just let it sit and I pinned it back. I actually really like to do my hair first and then pin it back like this so it's sort of pulled up at the roots, because I feel like it gives me a little bit more volume and lift in the long run. So I don't know, that's my technique. Let me show you the makeup. Okay, I just zoomed it in a little bit so you can see what's going on. This is how I did it. Basically, every part of this process was laid out to me on a silver platter by the incredible Layla, who was the makeup artist that I went to. She just taught me everything. She said, prep that skin. So that's what I did. She gave me a little sample of this Mecca skin glow tint thing. It's not written on the jar, but I started with that. I'll try and find the product and I will put it on screen. Ooh! Thing is that I knew how to do my makeup the way that I liked it, but I was not confident on how to make it last. And that's what most of my concerns were about. So that's what I was sort of seeking in terms of advice. So the Mecca product was on. And then I used Glossier Future Dew Oil Serum Hybrid. Okay, obviously I bought all this with my own money. I feel like that does not need to be said because I'm literally a sewist and not a makeup artist, but whatever. That went on. And then after those two products, I did a cream. And it could be any cream, but I just have this one right now. It's the Aesop Mandarin Facial Hydrating Cream. It was a gift. And I like it. I like to apply my products with a lot of zest and zeal. You know when you have rainforest plants and you need to give them a good shake to make them feel like they're in the rainforest? Sometimes I feel like my face needs that. It just needs like, you know? And now it's rejuvenated. Now this is something I didn't know about, but I was told to use a setting spray in between just about every layer. So that includes after skin prep, which seems crazy to me, but I did it and I feel like it was good. So yeah, I used Urban Decay All Nighter and I just did the travel size. I love travel size makeup. With the base done, then I underpainted, which is when you use a cream blush and bronzer before your foundation. Now I could have gotten a nicer or fancier cream blush, but I was like, I already have some, so that's what we're doing. Another thing I usually do is I just apply it to my face, but I was told apply that to your hand and warm it up and sort of diffuse it a little bit and then go in. I can't remember if I used my fingers or a blender, but honestly, I probably used my fingers. The blush that I'm using is just the Mecca Off Duty Blush Stick in the shade Tutu, if you care about such things. That's where we're sitting. I think that's fine. And I really do like blush on my nose, so that's what we're doing. Is my sewing mannequin freaking all out? She's just chilling. It's to remind you of the real purpose of my YouTube channel. Done. And then in theory, bronze as well. Okay, underpainting. Set it. Okay, time for a foundation. This is the product that I used. I usually use NARS Sheer Glow, but the makeup artist that I saw said use something oil-free. I think that's what she said. I will help with it staying on my face longer. I don't know. This is the brand, Shiseido. I think I'm saying that wrong. Shiseido. It's called the Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. And I literally just used one pump of the foundation. I put it on the back of my hand and sort of mellowed it out with my finger. And then I used a little fluffy brush. This is the Angled Complexion brush by Mecca Max. And I just put it on, but really lightly. I also watched a lot of makeup tutorials just to sort of refresh what I knew about makeup. And it did seem like the general consensus was put on light layers. Layers are impactful rather than just smacking on a bunch all at once. And that's what I tried to do. That's quite good. I'm going to also do a tiny bit of concealer. I also put the concealer on the back of my hand and just sort of blended it in with my fingers. Oh, I didn't put any foundation on my nose. Oops. I didn't want my makeup to look too intense or vivid. I just wanted it to be a nice, bright, natural, globby look that lasted and didn't look too cakey or overdone by the end of the night. That was the goal. Okay, that's kind of good. Now for the best part, blush. Just kidding, I'm gonna do my eyebrows. I used Kosas Airbrow. I just did them so natural, guys. Literally just did this. And then I was like, skirt, I'm done. So the fancy blush, which I ended up purchasing for myself, is the RMS Beauty Redimension Hydra Powder Blush. And I got it in the shade French Rose. This is the packaging. This is the color. Oh, wow. It is so, so beautiful. I just used a brush and I built it up. And blush is my favorite makeup product, so I did kind of go ham with it, just going all the way from this part of the cheek, all the way up, and a little on the nose. Honestly, I probably could have done a tiny bit more so that it showed up in photos, just a smidge bit more, but it was also a 35°C day, so it was very warm, and there was probably a little bit of natural blush going on because it was hot. And then, do you know what I did? I just put that washed over on my eyelid. How good. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I primed my eyelid with a little bit of concealer. You can get eye primers, and I was recommended to get one, but I was like, I'm spending too much money on makeup now, so I did not. The girl maths is also that I spent a lot less on my wedding dress than if I had bought it from a store because I made it, so I could just sort of redistribute that to makeup, right? The approach here is a fluffy brush and literally just smacking that all over the lid. I also did a little bit of a highlight. I used the Hourglass Ambient Strobe Light powder, and I put that on the upper cheekbone and the nose, and I like to put a little bit under the brow. It's coming together. I need more for the eyes. Okay, for the eyes, I think I just added a little bit of a darker shade on the outside. I think I may have used my other shade of the RMS Beauty Blush in Hanky Panky, that's the color, and I think I may have just put that on the outer edge. Are you guys in close enough? I feel like the makeup people get really up and personal. Sorry, I should have done that before. That's lovely. That's my vibe, you know? And then I have the Jeffree Star Morphe, I think that's how you say it, palette. And I really like using this shade here, which is called 2. Literally called 2. So yeah, it's a really nice shimmery. And I just put that right in the corner. But you have to be gentle with it because it is pigmented. And sometimes I like to use this shade here, which is just like a little bit more of an apricot-y shimmer, and I just sort of put that next to it for extra vibes. And then I can sort of just blend that out a bit. And literally, that's eyes for me. And I just went in with the Hourglass 1.5mm mechanical gel eyeliner in Canyon. It's like a dark brown. I put it underneath my lash line just to make it look a little bit fuller. I feel like this is an unmissable step. I think it actually does a lot. And then I just used this same eyeliner just to make a little bit of a feathered wing. Actually, I think I got too stressed to use the pencil and I just used eyeshadow because it's a little bit more forgiving. That's exactly what happened. Angled liner brush. Bam. Oh yeah. Oh, I feel like I may have just used that as well to just do the ends of my brows. You feel me? Ow, that's nice. Yeah, okay. Now, this was the most important step of my wedding makeup, and it was the mascara. I have basically been using only 2 different kinds of mascara since I started wearing mascara when I was 15. And they were fine, but my biggest mascara problem was it crumbling off a little bit and giving me some sort of residue under my eyes, which is kind of annoying. Anyway, I presented that problem to the makeup artist and she said, you have to try tubular mascara. I don't really even understand what this is still, but she was saying it's the mascara that in the shower, you can just do this and it just comes right off, but basically it will not budge otherwise. So the one that I got was the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara, Ultra Black, and it's very good. It looked so nice at the end of the night. There was no crumbling or weird residual marks, and I cried during the day. I was very, very impressed. 10 out of 10. Okay, that's the mascara. And I just put a tiny bit on the lower lash line. Like, that's a mascara. Very good. Okay, that just leaves lip products. I did Mecca all the way. I had the Mecca Pout Pencil in Fancy for the lip liner and Pout Pop Lipstick by Mecca Max in Reality Check. It's a sheer lipstick. I asked for something that felt really light and nourishing and not like I was really wearing anything because I just feel like lipstick sets me off in a weird way. Like I just feel really conscious of the way that it's on. So this was lovely. It didn't bother me at all, but it still just gave me a little bit of something. Like I will often just not wear any lip product when I probably should complete the look. That, the lips. One last setting spray. A princess. I forgot to curl my lashes. Pretend that I did that. Now I'm gonna finish the hair. So with the hair, at this point, I just get my fingers and I rake through all of these curls and I just try and separate them and give it a little bit more oomph, volume, vibes. I just get crazy with it. Sometimes I use this little comb and I just try and get a little bit of lift in the roots, especially at the back of the head. Separating the curls is good for me because I know that the curls will want to find each other again and again and again. So I just try and give them a little bit of separation in the hopes that I get some volume. And then I absolutely blitzed it with hairspray. And I think I tried to just sort of get any fuzzy portions patted down. And then once that was done, I just went back in with my curling iron and I readjusted the front fringe pieces. I just gave some bits a little trim just because you can never really get things perfect with curls. And then my little sister clued me in on a really great technique, which is using a little bit of eyelash glue to keep your fringe down. So we just put it on the inside edges of the curls and that way the curls of the fringe just sat like this, because usually they'll want to part. So that's what we did and it worked really well. And that is the finished hair and makeup look that I did for my wedding day. I was really happy with how it turned out. It was nice and bright and it looked like me and I just felt like myself, which is the best feeling ever. I also really enjoyed just getting ready in the morning with my bridesmaids and it being a nice, slow and easygoing moment. I think having people coming in and out of the house would have been a little stressful for someone like me, so 10 out of 10 would do again. And if I was going to recommend any of these products with my whole chest, I think it would be the mascara, the Hourglass Tubular Mascara. So good. And maybe the setting spray, kind of awesome. Anyway, I'm definitely procrastinating from putting away all of my fabric, so that's the next task and I'm going to task it right now. I think it will take me a little while to unpack all of my fabric and notions and just figure out the right places for it, so please enjoy some clips of me doing that work here. I'm really looking forward to getting into my sewing practice again. The wedding dress was big. I was honored to make it and it was exciting to wear something that I created and it did feel like me, but it was so pressureful. I think I just can't wait to work on some projects that don't have such a big meaning to me. Usually when I work, I'm feeling more curious and explorative about the process and I just enjoy getting to make something and it's not so pressureful how it actually turns out. Obviously it's nice when things go well, but it's not like the end of the world if it goes poorly. But with the wedding dress, it was just so scary that my vision wouldn't come to life because I didn't really have a second idea or a design or even a plan of what I would do if it didn't work out. So yeah, I'm so relieved that it worked, but glad that it's over. I definitely will have to put my foundational understanding of corsetry into practice this year though. I don't want to lose the skills and the interest that I have in that world, so you can expect a little bit more evening wear or fitted bodice work this year. I think I just have to push in, even though right now I'm sort of like, I've had enough of that for now. But in the meantime, I am super excited to start making some pieces for our house. We have a grey couch and that doesn't really sit right with me. I think it needs to be covered in colour, whether that be multi-colourful patchwork or just one colour. I'm not sure yet, but that will be an upcoming video, so stay tuned. I also think the chairs need upholstering and I'm excited to learn how to do that. And we also have the most beautiful, lovely tall glass windows and they are crying out for some gorgeous curtains. So that's also on my list of things to do. I mean, there are a lot of projects on my list, but those are just some of the ones that I'm really excited about. Adra and I went to Tasmania for our honeymoon and I really enjoyed, you know, hikes and adventuring and bike riding and all that stuff. But one of the highlights of our trip was meeting a beautiful fiber artist in a small town called Deloraine. And she showed me a little bit of how she spins alpaca wool into a skein. and I have to say it sparked some interest. So I might have to do a little bit of investigating about that whole process, because I was just starstruck meeting her, a person who basically, she has a friend who has alpacas. So she gets the wool and she can take that raw material and create a beautiful knitted sweater, which I just think is so incredibly cool. I just sat in front of her and I was like, show me how it works. So maybe that's something I need to learn about as well. We'll see. I did purchase a few skeins of hand-dyed yarn off her, so I think I'll be doing some knitting. Oh, I have to knit a sweater this year. I just have to. It's just something that must be done. Anyway, aside from the yarn, Tasmania was really beautiful. We hiked a day hike at Cradle Mountain called Marion's Lookout. It started at Ronnie's Creek and then went up past Crater Lake and up to Marion's Lookout, and then we went all the way down to Dove Lake, if that means anything to you. It was so enjoyable for an enthusiastic beginner. So if you're going to Tasmania, I really enjoyed that hike. We also went over to an island called Maria Island, and we hired bikes and did like a 26-kilometer bike ride around that island. It's so beautiful. It's basically an untouched island. It just has all this wildlife, wombats, echidnas. It was awesome. And Tasmania also has this ice cream called Valhalla's Chalk Top Ice Cream, and that became a fast favorite for me, and I'm so sad that we don't have it here in Brisbane. So again, if you're going to Tasmania, have a Chalk Top for me and let me know if you like it, because I became obsessed. Anyway, I think that will be the end of the video. I didn't quite get to show you all of my favorite little house knickknacks just yet, but don't worry, I will show you in upcoming videos. I'm so excited to be back. I can't wait to get into some more sewing, and stay tuned for the wedding dress reveal video. I'm really looking forward to showing you the final dress. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope this was a nice, peaceful watch. If you liked the video, give it a like, or if you want more from me, feel free to subscribe and we can hang out some more in the future. I would totally like that. And that is all from me today, sending lots of love to you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!